looks like we are live, guys. So happy to see a bunch of smiling faces down there and some hellos. Thank you for joining us on another amazing FanCast. They're never anything short of that with one and only Jeremy Shada. Always excitement, all kinds of new things that go on in your life constantly. So fill us in a little bit. How have things been since the last time we spoke?
They've been great. Just, almost through the puppy phases with our dogs. Potty training's almost done. I've cleaned up more puppy poops and pees in the last month than I want to ever throughout all of life. But we're getting there. They're great. It's hard to get mad at them when they look up at you with the cute little puppy dog eyes. And yeah, we're hanging in there. We're both working a lot remotely via Zoom calls. I feel like my whole day is just spent in front of a computer now because everything's Zoom call. If it's like a catching up with a friend, if it's work, if it's anything, is always on Zoom. So I will be very excited to be done with Zoom calls at some point in the future.
Yes, get that face-to-face time back. I think I'm going to just ask all of our little participants down there who's ready for some actual real FaceTime, not digital FaceTime.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see. I see it. We are all in the same boat. I'm sure we can't wait until the digital life has transitioned back to real life. So, hey, it's what do they say? Like, sometimes the grass is greener. Now we kind of know.
Oh yeah, grass is definitely greener.
Maybe I do like people. So there we go. Well, without further ado, I don't want to take up any more time from the fans. I know we got a packed house as usual. So we're going to kick it off to them. And first, we will go to who's lucky number one is going to be Brandon. Brandon, where are you coming from today?
I'm coming from Tennessee.
Brandon from Tennessee. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. What's your question, my dude?
What have been your quarantine hobbies?
Great question. Quarantine hobbies. I just started within the quarantine period learning how to play guitar a little bit, which is cool. I play bass, obviously, but guitar is new for me. And it's one of those things that I've always kind of put off, but when you have a lot of time and abundance of time, it's like, all right, well, that's something I can definitely do indoors and keep myself busy. We bought 2 puppies. It's not really a hobby, but it's more like a full-time job that we just gave ourselves. And then, that's just parenting straight up. And then we also, I have to do some like songwriting and stuff for the show that I'm working on. And we're like kicking around some ideas for some of the stuff coming up. That sounds so vague, I know. But we're doing a bunch of like songwriting sessions remotely via Zoom and FaceTime and everything. And so I wanted to be able to actually like record some demos of stuff. And so I'm currently in the process of turning part of the guest room into like kind of a little home studio. At least like, turning a closet into like a recording booth for a mic. And then I just downloaded like all of Logic Pro and all the great, sound recording software that you need. I've just started learning that, which is like, oh my gosh, it's like learning a whole new language. It's crazy. So educating myself on things that'll end up being really, really helpful for all that. So yeah, a lot of different stuff.
Cool. I don't really have a hobby. I'm just trying to build model cars a little bit.
Model cars? That's cool. Have you done that before quarantine, or did you start that during quarantine?
During quarantine.
Nice.
Definitely a hobby. Those are tough.
Yeah, that's not my area of expertise. I couldn't do that.
Small car, big car, it doesn't matter. I can't do it. So Brandon, hats off to you for sure. And thank you so much for your time.
That's awesome.
Welcome.
Thanks, Brandon.
You're welcome.
All right. Next up, we're going to go over to Jasmine. Jasmine, where are you coming from?
Yeah, I'm from Honduras, and this is my second time here, so hello.
How you doing, Jasmine?
I'm doing great. And my question to you was, what do you do when you're sad, stressed, or anxious?
Great question. I think put on a little bit of music, relax on the couch. I think one of the biggest things is just kind of venting to someone, just getting a little bit of that offline, it's not even like you need someone to help you with something. It's more just like you're just saying what's on your mind, basically. And just someone listening is the most helpful thing in the whole world. And so my wife is very gracious to do that, so we'll just sit down, have a glass of wine, kind of just talk through the day if it was a crappy day or whatever. And then afterwards we'll just watch some, you put on, we're watching New Girl right now on Netflix. So I think just, put on something that kind of is enjoyable and you get a little laugh out of it. And I think the main thing is, especially when it's like stress from like work related stuff or something along those lines, it's nice just to kind of not compartmentalize it, but just take a second to do something that kind of relaxes you, that's less serious, I think. And so, and then obviously some puppy snuggles are always good, little kisses from the puppies always help.
Yeah, I totally feel you. Like whenever I'm actually when I'm angry as well, I like to vent out with someone. I don't like taking advices, whatever, but I like to vent out. And Finn and Jake are so cute.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
Jasmine, go-to venter. Who do you turn to when you need to just let it out?
Oh, well, I actually like as well just vent out with someone or listen to music. That actually helps a lot in calming me. Yeah. And I try to also stay apart from people, stay away from people, because I know that I don't take good decisions when I'm angry.
That's a good policy. It's I think sometimes it's just good to take a cool down and listen to some great music, and then you kind of go, okay, I can deal with this now. I'm good. All right. That's smart.
Yeah. You've heard it, y'all. You heard it from Jasmine. When you're mad, take a cool down, then talk it out. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Great question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we're going to go over to Julian. Julian, where are you coming from today?
Hi, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. So.
Wow.
Whoa, that's where I'm currently quarantining and chilling. Crazy.
So my question, I'm a huge fan of Make Out Monday, and I was just wondering, what has been your favorite song to work on for the group?
Oof, favorite song to work on with the group? That's hard. I guess probably either Every Little Everything, because I think that was one of the first songs that we kind of collaborated on, all just in one of our first actual fully group band sessions. Was one of the first songs we wrote super duper early on. And so I think that one has been the fun to just see it go from being the earliest thing that we wrote together to then, after a couple years, finally going through the process and getting around to actually recording it. And I think probably it was cool as well because I think it's one of those songs that changed the least from our first initial version of it. Because a lot of times with songs, you'll come up with your first thing and then you go through the creative process and maybe the chorus will change or a verse will change, you end up doing stuff differently with it once you put it all together and you figure out what it actually needs and you have to change things. But that song, lyrically, melodically was probably 90% what it ended up being by the time we finished recording it, which I think for us is pretty rare. And so, I think that was one of the most fun songs to record. Also Kissophobic as well. I think it's the other one that I would say, just because it's, I love the kind of throwback doo-wop-y vibe in the beginning of it. It's a very different type of song. And we recorded those two actually at the same time, which is fun to have two different songs to record simultaneously that are very different. So there's not a lot of overlap in a good way. I think those two were probably my favorite to record.
About a year ago or so, my friend had me listen to Kissophobic, and ever since then I've been obsessed with it. So I really love that song.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Julian. All right. we will switch it over to, I believe it's Layla. Layla, am I saying that right?
Leela.
Leela. Dang it. I always have a 50-50 shot. I blew it. I'm sorry, Leela.
Yeah. It's all right. So I've got two things that I've got to say.
For sure.
One is a fact that I wanted to tell about myself, that I have the entire Adventure Time theme song memorized. And then my question is, what is the craziest thing you or one of the other people during recording lines for a voice acting episode that you or they have done?
Oof. Craziest thing during. I don't know. I mean, it's. I guess it's levels of crazy, because I feel like if you're watching a voiceover record, everything seems a little bit crazy out of context. I mean, like, I'm so used to it now that I don't even question. But in reality, it's a really weird. It's a really weird process. I mean, you'll have times when you're just literally screaming into a mic for like an hour basically, and it just seems so so casual. So yeah, I think it's all crazy. It's such a weird art form, but I love it because of that. I think some of the craziest stuff is when you're having like battles with other people in the room, in the scene, and you're literally just going back and forth, essentially shadow fighting each other from across the booth is always it's always just fun to watch. I mean, if you just record it out of context, it looks so stupid and ridiculous, but it's so great. So yeah, I think that's probably the most crazy. As far as like, I think especially when you work on shows like Voltron and Adventure Time, I mean, the things that I do in the shows themselves are really, really weird and crazy at times. And so it's hard to pinpoint what the most crazy of all of the crazy is, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I like your Keith Voltron hoodie.
Thanks. My friend got it for me for Secret Santa last year.
Great Secret Santa present. Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Leela. Awesome question.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Leila.
We're going to talk to Nick. Nick, where are you coming from today?
I'm coming from Chicago.
What's going on in Chicago?
My question is, what is the most interesting pair of socks that you own?
That is a first. Never been asked that. Good job. Hats off to you. You got an original question on the FanCast. The most interesting pair of socks I own. I've had some really dumb ones over the years, but I think for the sentimental reason of it, the most interesting pair of socks I own is a pair of, like, I guess they're just a bunch of like lips and hearts. They're long socks that are a bunch of lips and hearts, and I needed socks for my wedding, and I was like, well, I mean, you're not really going to see them, but what's kind of a funny thing. And so we were shopping, and my wife found those and was like, you're wearing these. And I was like, really? She's like, yes. They're like really goofy looking hearts and lips. And that's what I ended up wearing. So they're my favorite pair of socks now. I don't wear them very often. They're only on special occasions, but yeah, I've had some like the weird Hot Topic ones over the years, but I think the most interesting pair is probably that one, which I'll hang on to for as long as possible.
Mm-hmm. Wear them every anniversary.
Exactly. Yep. Every anniversary.
Nick, that was an awesome question. One we definitely haven't heard before. And next up, we're going to go over to Kennedy. Kennedy, where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Florida.
From Florida. Spent a lot of time there. Have you been on here before? I feel like you have.
I have.
Yeah.
I was, and the last time my hair was a lot, I cut it.
Oh, does it feel good? Yeah, I haven't gotten a haircut since long before quarantine at this point. So that's why I have a hat on. My hair is getting ridiculous. Yeah,
It was a much needed one.
yeah, I bet. I feel you on that. I feel like my head is like 20 pounds right now just from the hair. So I'm looking forward to that eventually. What's your question?
My question is, what is your favorite type of animal?
Oof.
What's your favorite type of animal?
Favorite type of animal? I mean, as far as like the cats dogs argument, I'm definitely a dog person. But overall, favorite animal that I just think is cool, probably. I really like panda bears. I don't know why. They're cute to me. They're like I don't know. They're my favorite type of bear. They eat bamboo, and they're just cute. I mean, I probably wouldn't want to have one as a pet, but I think I don't know why I like panda bears. What about you? What's your favorite type of animal?
With the dog and cat thing, my favorite type of animal is I can't really choose. I think it's going to be a koala.
Nice.
I really like koalas. They have very sharp teeth. When it comes to the whole the dog and cat thing, I'm more of a dog person.
Oh, so cute. What type of breed?
Pit bull.
She's a pit bull.
She's a little pit bull. You're so cute.
Right.
She's only about 2 years old.
What's her name?
Her name is Lily, like the flower.
Little Lily. I love it. That's so cute. That's awesome.
Fun fact, I go to school with Leela. Leela and I used to go to school together.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We have friends in this FanCast. Crazy. That's so cool.
Awesome. Kennedy is awesome. Lily is awesome. I have 2 pit bulls, so I'm right there with you. And you and Jeremy seem to have like a bear theme for your favorite animal. So, hey, that's good too. Thank you so much, Kennedy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we are going to talk with Carter. Carter, where are you coming from?
New Jersey.
East Coast.
Carter, New Jersey.
Yes.
How you doing, Carter?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
My question was, would you ever do work in musical theater?
Oof, great question. I would love to do work in musical theater. I've never really had, I guess, the opportunity. I started acting from a super duper early age, and I was just kind of always in that end of things, I guess, with on camera and voiceover and TV and whatever. What's up, Carter's friend, by the way? And yeah, but I've never really, I guess, gotten into that, but I've always had an interest in it. I just recently finally, right before quarantine, went to New York and got to see like my first Broadway musical. And so that was really, really cool. And that, like, I think really gave me a much larger passion for it. And my wife spent 3 years in the city. And so she's like a huge musical theater snob. And so, yeah, just to make her happy, I would love to do something like that eventually, because I act, I sing, and that's always been 2 things that have been a huge part about what I do. And so, yeah, I would love to. I don't really, I guess, audition for that type of stuff generally, but I guess the hope is that eventually I can work enough to where I, can know somebody and do something. I would love to, though. That would be awesome.
What musical did you see?
I saw Jagged Little Pill, which I think was like brand new when we saw it. It wasn't. I think it had just started like a couple weeks before that, or maybe 2 weeks. They had just started really recently. But I saw Jagged Little Pill, which was really, really cool. I super duper enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fairly new. I think my friend's dad worked on the set for that.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Like, some of the stuff in that is super cool. There's this one sequence where they basically do a song and the character's singing and everything goes in reverse of what just happened the past 10 minutes while she's singing the song, and so everyone's kind of moving slow motion, like in reverse, and it's like really cool choreography, really really awesome. So geeking out there a little bit, but yeah.
Thanks for bringing some class to the fan cast, Carter.
Thank you, Carter. Great question.
I am. You haven't seen more musicals. I'm offended. In fact,
I don't know why. I think it's an LA thing. Like in LA, when you grow up there and you live there and you work in that side of it, I guess for whatever reason, it's like everything is so movie or TV show driven, and what you see and what yes. That I don't know why. Yeah, I think it's just live arts are less, just less of a thing there, I guess. But I think if you're more East Coast or in just a lot of other cities other than LA, I think it's more of a thing. So yeah, I'm weird. I don't know.
Huge thing and definitely the best I've seen. I can't even count, but go see more. That's my advice.
All right. Once we can actually go see more, I will do that.
I should have figured that one in there. So yes, as soon as we're allowed. Okay, next up we're going to go to Haley without a Y. So I know there's a Haley with a Y. We will wait, but Haley without a Y. Where are you coming from?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm coming from. So, and my question was, what's your favorite Make Out Monday song? Like, just in like general, like you like to listen to or
overall
sing.
I think recently, I think "Don't Fall Asleep" is probably my favorite one just to listen through. It changes though. I guess it depends. Like I'll go through phases of different favorites for sure. But right now, I think it's "Don't Fall Asleep," which I think also happens to be my lady's favorite. Which ironically, it's not quite the same, but in that song we say Carolina. Her name's Carolyn, so not exactly there, but it's a little bit funny. And we wrote that long before I met her, so just a little ironic. But yeah, I think "Don't Fall Asleep" is currently my favorite, and then it changes though. My second favorite currently is probably "Bullet for Your Sweetheart," because whenever I want to listen to like a very throwbacky Fall Out Boy type song of ours, that's usually what I go to. It's my go-to for sure.
Yeah, my friends make fun of me. Well, they don't make fun of me, but they think I'm weird that I listen to the band and that I really like it. But my favorite song's like American Cinema.
Tell those friends I'm angry that they call you weird for that. What the heck? It's cool. You put a lot of time and effort into that.
Yeah. And like I was like a little story. I'm making this like t-shirt that says "Make Out Monday." And I told my mom and I, like, she was, like, sitting beside me while I was doing it. She's like, "I think you're the only fan." And I was like, "No, I'm not. There's more people who like them."
There's more. There's a few. You know, we probably have a solid 20 fans. A solid 20, I would say.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Awesome. I feel like I'm super distracted because I see Lily has taken over Kennedy's screen.
Look at the puppy. So cute.
I know. I can't concentrate. But I'm going to try. We're going to go to our next person. And we are going to try for, I think I'm saying this correctly. If I'm not correct me. Debbie? Debbie, where are you coming from today?
Yes, it's correct. It's Debbie. And I'm calling from Jamaica. Hi, Sam. Hi, Jeremy.
How are you?
Hi. Yes, this is. I'm doing good. This is my second time here. The last time was my first. So thank you for having me.
Good. Thank you for being on. Good to see you again.
No problem. I wanted to say real quick, calling from Jamaica, so I've never been to a musical either, but I love music so much, so I feel you. I feel
100%. 100%.
All right, so actually my question has to do with music. So my favorite character in Adventure Time, it's not Finn, sorry, but I do love Finn. I love Finn a lot.
I like the honesty. I like the honesty.
So it's Marceline, and I love me, you, and her. We share something in common. We love music. You even play the bass like her.
This is true.
So I wanted to know which of her songs, by the way, shout out to Rebecca Sugar. She wrote some fabulous songs. But But which of her songs is your favorite? And can we probably hear a little bit?
I think probably as far as Marceline's songs go, I think is it. I know how to hum it, but I don't remember if they titled it differently. But is it "Let's Go to the Garden"? Oh no, "Everything Stays" is what it's called.
Everything Stays. Oh my god,
that's how it starts. But yeah, I love that song. It's so pretty. Let's go to the garden. There you find something waiting. Yeah, I don't know. "Everything Stays" is so good. Olivia just like kills that song, and it's so like it has a great just nostalgia to it.
Right, it's such a soothing vibe. I find myself singing it when I'm just need some calming down.
Everything stays right where you left it. Yeah, it's so good. I love
Everything Stays. Yeah, it even has some parallels to the Steven Universe movie, you know, with the star in that. Don't want to give too many spoilers away, but I think that was pretty cool. And you kind of remind me of Zach Callison, the star. You guys love music as well as voice acting. Kind of remind me of him. Maybe.
I've known him for a long time. We both kind of we both started in acting and voice acting at a very like early age, and so I remember seeing him at auditions when I was probably like, I don't even know, like 12 or 13 or something. So yeah, and then we both ended up on the two big Cartoon Network shows as like the lead characters, just coincidentally.
Of that era.
Yeah, of that era, which is just funny. But yeah, I'd known him for a long time before that, just because I always saw him in auditions. So also very musically talented, which is cool. I find a lot of people that do stuff in the voiceover world can at least hum a tune. I think a lot of it comes from understanding pitch and different cadence and tone. You know, and working a lot in your voice and bending it and changing it, and you know, I think that definitely plays into music. So a lot of people that can do can at least carry a tune generally, which is pretty awesome.
Well, I hope. By the way, loving the hat. Adjusting to quarantine. That's why I have my bandana on.
Yeah,
Can't wait to get a haircut.
I've been rocking the backwards hat a lot recently. So
that's how I had it last time I was here. Love it. It's amazing.
Thanks, man. See you next time.
No problem. Same.
All right. Next up, we're going to kick it over to John. Where are you coming from?
Right there. No,
I'm coming from LA.
Your hometown, Jeremy.
Yep.
Oh, you're from LA? What's going on, dude?
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually on in January, that FanCast, the 27th. I was on that one too.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I asked you about the Star Wars question, and I found out that you were a super dark. Yeah. So I actually have one thing to tell you before. I actually have one thing to tell you before I ask my question.
Go for it.
You know that Denton's death date thing?
Yeah, the Snapchat show.
Yeah. So I watched half of that before I realized it was you. Because last time I was just like, this guy looks familiar, because last time I had actually looked up who's Finn's voice actor, right? It was like when I was like 10.
Right.
So then I found that I was like, what? No way. So that was pretty funny.
That's awesome. What'd you think? Did you like it?
I thought it was funny. I didn't think I was gonna like it because it kind of seemed like a Riverdale type. Like, I thought it'd be more of like a.
Right, 100%. When I auditioned for that, I honestly I had no idea what the tone would be, and I didn't even get to read any of the scripts before I booked the job. Literally, I just had the lines for the audition, which was like all from the first episode, basically, or maybe first two, and that was all I had to go off of. And it was like, oh, they have to their table read is on like Monday, so they basically need to. Find someone for this really quickly, and they saw your stuff in Mr. Student Body President, and the director thought that you would be great for it, and they're like, "Can you tape today?" And I was like, "Sure." So I had my brother just help me onto my iPhone, just send it a self tape real quick, and then the next day they were like, "Oh, you got the job. Also, we need to know if you basically are a yes on doing it by like tonight, and we'll send you the script afterwards. And I was like, sure.
All right.
Yeah. And then like I got the 10 scripts and I was like, I need to read through these before the table read tomorrow. And then as I was like, you're like, oh God, I hope it's decent. Like I have no idea what I'm jumping into. And then as I was reading them, I was like, oh, this is pretty funny. Like I thought it was really funny. And then we just, got on set, and it was, it's a very like snappy, quick show. And no pun intended, literally no pun intended, Snapchat. It was a fun show. I don't know what's happening with that during everything. And I actually, while I was shooting that, I had to, on my lunch break one day, rush over and do the audition, which would end up getting me the show that I'm currently working on that'll be on Netflix.
Nice.
So yeah, that kind of all happened around the same time. But yeah, fun show. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to see a second season, but I don't know when that's gonna happen.
Dude, you and me both. I have no idea.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't want to take any more time though, so I'll ask my question. What is the best piece of advice you ever heard and that you like live by?
Best piece of advice I ever heard and lived by. I think it kind of just boils down to, I don't even know as far as advice goes. I've heard a lot of advice. I would just say, for me, the thing that I live by is just my faith and just my love of people, and the fact that I'm just very thankful for where I'm at. I think that's a big thing. I think a lot of times in our day and age, it's easy to focus on the negatives, but I think really just being thankful for what you have is so important. And you can always find something to complain about, no matter who you are, whether you're you have everything.
True that.
You can always find something to complain about, but then you really stop and look at it and you're like, there's nothing I can possibly justify complaining about. And so, yeah, I think just being thankful for where you're at and making the most of it.
Yeah, if there's a negative, there's definitely a positive too.
100%.
That you could find in there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
That was very insightful, John. I actually really like that.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna steal that.
She's like, I needed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll credit, photo credit. Thanks, John.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, of course.
All right, we're gonna kick it over to, I think it's Amos. Amos, where are you coming from today?
Hi guys, I'm coming from Malaysia today. And hi Jeremy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
It's like 5 a.m. in the morning, and I have a test coming at 8 a.m. later. So,
oof, I am so sorry. Thank you for being awake.
This is fine.
Good morning.
I do hope everything is doing well for you.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm literally 12 hours the opposite, so I'm very awake. Just props to you for being awake for this. Good Lord.
Thanks a lot. So my question is, well, it's actually for a few of my friends as well.
Yeah.
Who do you think Finn ended up with at the end of Adventure Time?
Great question. I don't know. I mean, we have our shameless plug, I guess, for HBO Max, which is about to drop. But we're going to be having our Adventure Time, like the long specials on HBO Max starting semi-soon. We're going to have 4, I think, hour-long specials, which is going to be really cool. I'm excited for that. I don't even think that those necessarily answer that question, but they might answer a little bit of it. So we shall see in that regard. I don't know, but I think for me personally, I hope that Finn ends up with Breakfast Princess. Personally, she's my favorite princess. I might be biased because she's a princess, which is cool, and she's breakfast, which breakfast is the best thing in the world. So favorite meal, so it's the 2 favorite things: princess and breakfast in one. I mean, yeah, I would say Breakfast Princess, but no, I mean. I think in the context of the show, maybe eventually Flame Princess. I feel like that would be cool. And I was always bummed when they broke up in the show because I thought that was a fun relationship. So Yeah, I'd probably either Flame Princess or somebody that we haven't seen yet. Who knows? But yeah, personally though, I would say Breakfast Princess, just because that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Bacon.
Yeah, bacon.
Bacon.
Bacon, pancakes, pun intended, all the good stuff. She's got it. So.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. That's such a weird answer. Oh man, thanks, Avis.
Understand that. That was not weird at all. Next up, we're going to kick it over to Jamie. Jamie, where are you coming from?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can.
Okay. I'm coming from Kentucky.
Ooh, Kentucky. What's going on? You're from Kentucky?
Not much. This is my first time doing this, and I was super excited and shocked when I got the email to get in. Because I've always wanted to meet Jeremy at like a con or something. I met Zach, which was amazing, but I've always wanted to meet Jeremy at a con or something, so I'm really excited about this.
That's so cool. I'm glad we're able to do it at least via the internet and everything. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my question is, what was your favorite season, episode, or era of Finn during Adventure Time? Either like the full series or like upcoming stuff. Either one.
Oh man, I think I really like Finn with the grass sword. That's a fun part of the. I like that part of the show. I like the early on Finn a lot of times too. Just like there's that kind of nice, I guess, naivety and genuine, just kind of. That kind of genuine ignorant bliss, I think, from the earlier seasons, which is fun. But then I really like seeing him progress throughout the show though and mature. There's a couple cool moments that I'm really excited for in the mini series because we cover a lot of I guess pockets of time post the show. Mm-hmm. We don't really give an exhaustive, but we give like little glimpses into just little eras of him. And there's should I say this? There's one that we just barely glimpse, like I guess he's probably like maybe in early 20s kind of Finn somewhere in there.
Oh my God.
He's got like a little bit of like scruff. And yeah, it makes me laugh. He's like kind of a scruffy bro, for like just we glimpse it a little bit. So yeah, there's also I shouldn't say that. I'll get in trouble for spoiling stuff. But yeah, we get to see a couple glimpses of him at different points far past the original series and the upcoming specials. So I'm excited for those. But I think those and then the classic blissful, I'm going to be a hero and slay evil things Finn is also really fun.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure if they were going to include him in the new stuff. Like, I was going to watch it anyways. It's my favorite show of all time. I've been watching it since it aired for the first time. And my favorite was, like, when we start, like, finding out more about, like, his, like, childhood and stuff, and he, like, goes on that big thing with Susan. Oh, my God, I loved that. I was, like, on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Yeah, the Islands miniseries is really, really fun.
Yeah.
I love that we got to have enough time in the show that we actually finally got to dive into his origin and everything.
Stakes was awesome, too, though, because Marceline's, like, just the best. I love her so much.
That's so cool. But yeah, I get a full, there's like 4 parts there's 4 specials that they're doing. And the final one is all Finn and a lot of Jake too. But the final one is all Finn. And then Finn is glimpsed, I think, very briefly in 1 or 2 of the other ones. So I have little cameos, I think, in maybe all 4 of them. But or at least 2 of the other ones, and then the final one is just all Finn, which is going to be really cool. I'm excited.
I'm so excited. Yeah, we got HBO Max just recently, like for that reason. I was like, Dad, we got to get this. I got to see the continuation.
The whole series on there as well, which is really awesome.
Yeah, there's a ton of like Crunchyroll stuff and Ghibli stuff too, which I love too. So I'm so excited.
Great, me too. Well, thank you for your question. Nice to meet you over.
Thank you.
Over FanCast.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jamie. All right. Next up, we're going to go to Haley with a Y. You've been waiting so patiently. Haley, where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Jacksonville, Florida.
From Jacksonville, Florida. How you doing, Haley? With a Y.
I'm good. How are you, Jeremy?
Great. What is your question?
My question is, would you want to be part of a spin-off actual series of Adventure Time? And if so, who do you think would be the main characters?
An Adventure Time spin-off. I would. I mean, I would love to be a part of one. I think it'd be super fun. So that I'll say yes to that for sure. Who do I think would be the main characters? I mean, I don't know. I guess they could do they could possibly do a Fiona and Cake thing, although I guess you're just kind of doing, no, it's not exactly the same, but you're kind of doing the same thing, just redoing it in that context. But I feel like characters that I would love to watch a spin-off from would be, I would love to watch a little BMO spin-off. Because BMO is timeless too.
Of course.
You know, BMO's a robot, so BMO can transcend any time period of the show, which would be fun. I feel like a spin-off of some of the Reign of Pups and Finn being an uncle would be pretty. Mm-hmm. I think, Finn being a scruffy uncle that mentors the little something would be pretty fun. I feel like if they did a next generation type deal with it, because there's other characters that would take up, I think, the Finn mantle. I feel like there's a lot of Ooh and the world of Ooh that's left to be explored as well. But I don't know who would take the lead role in it. But I would definitely love to be in it as a version of Finn, or even as something else would be super fun.
Yeah. Personally, I would want to see the past, maybe adventures with Simon and Marcy.
Oh, totally.
Or see how Princess Bubblegum and Marceline met or something like that. Mm-hmm. Because they don't really explain that.
That is true. We might show a little bit of that in one of the specials, actually. So we'll see. If I'm not mistaken, we might. But I would love to see some earlier on stuff too. It'd be fun to see the world pre whatever the Mushroom War was and how everything became post-apocalyptic, kind of in that time period, a bit shifting, where we see some of the Simon and Marcy stuff. I feel like that would be really, really cool to watch some characters there.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you for your question, Haley. You're welcome, of course.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have a quick shout out from Bree, and she wants to know, how do you create voices for your characters, and what's the process?
That is a good question. It depends on the character. Some characters, I would say, just benefit from having a natural sounding voice because they're supposed to be just kind of a pretty normal person. I mean, generally, I probably don't ever give my 100% natural voice. I mean, there's some that are close to it, even Lance from Voltron is pretty close to my natural voice, with a little bit of different energy behind it. You know, it's the personality and cadence is very different than me, but it's close to my natural voice. If I did something like this is extremely basic. Not only I mean that negatively towards myself, but this is just a very normal voice. Whereas I think when you translate things to animation, you kind of generally always have to give a little bit of something to it, just to make it feel more energetic. And then you have, characters that I think it comes down to kind of the art style and the tone of the show. Some shows are very, very cartoony, and very, very broad and kind of crazy with their voices. And so you'll have some stuff like that. But I guess you kind of take it at face value. I like to see the art of the character first and see if they're, if they seem a little bit more timid, a little more energetic, if they're older, younger, that's going to have a difference. If they're more of a confident person, or they're a little bit more nerdy, or maybe they're more nasally. I don't know. Whatever. It could be anything. Maybe they have a little bit more rasp in their voice, or I think it all stems from the personality and the art of the character, and then you just kind of play around with it. Honestly, sometimes you'll just mix impressions of other people into something new, and then and then sometimes you're doing a character that's really well known, or you're auditioning for one, and that's always weird. I just auditioned for a new animated series that is going to have Superman in it, and so I auditioned for like a young kind of Clark Kent for like voiceover. And that's like weird because it's like those roles that have been done by a ton of people and everybody kind of has a certain expectation of what they're supposed to be, but it's also a natural sounding voice. So you're like, okay, well, where does that land? I feel like I have to hit something that sounds familiar, but still make it your own. So this sounds like I have no idea what I'm doing, but the main thing to remember in VO is look at the character first and try and find what fits and benefits that specific character. So I never approach everything with like, oh, this is going to be this, you know. I kind of let the character, I think, decide what the voice needs by the tone and by the art style generally.
Wonderful. There you have it, Bree. It's quite the convoluted artistic process.
Yeah, it is. It's all over the place, you know. And then sometimes just try out stuff for kicks and giggles, and you're like, I don't think I'm right for this, but I'm just gonna give it a go and see what happens, you know. So, a creative process.
That's how it works. Next up, I'm gonna go over to Wally. I think I hear you, Wally. Where are you coming from?
I am coming from Fleetwood, New York. Actually, almost didn't make. Sorry, I said I am coming live from Fleetwood, New York.
Nice. What's going on, Wally?
Yeah. I literally just before signing in came back from moving all my stuff from my school back home. Literally. I just thought I'd missed it. Yeah, I thought I'd missed it. So yeah, I tried to think. Yeah, I listened to all the stuff. I can imagine the cake and cat thing, but I just realized. You know what that means? I'm all the psychotic Grey Delisle, the evil Grey Delisle, all the time. I know she was the voice of Ice Queen.
Oh, 100%. She plays a lot of very good villains.
Yeah, I've met her. Yeah, I've met her.
Awesome.
She is awesome. She's awesome. I even got a voice messaging recording of her for my mom for Mother's Day.
That's so cool. That's awesome. Grey's great. I love Grey.
What have you been up to during the quarantine?
A lot of parenting with puppies, dog parenting. Learning how to play guitar. I would say learning to cook, but my wife is much better at that, and so she doesn't trust me in the kitchen. But that's I mean, yeah, she's better at it. So I help her to help her. She's like, okay. I think
connecting to my question, I forgot. So on my question, I actually had an Adventure Time. You worked with some greats, including John DiMaggio, Jessica DeCoco, Lyndon Walsh, and the legendary Tom Kenny. And a couple times Ron Perlman and D. Bradley Baker. What was it like with them?
It's great. You know, I think the funnest part about Adventure Time, especially, I mean, throughout the whole thing, I guess, is the fact that when I started working on it, I was super young, and all of the people that I worked with that were all like the leads in the show, I'd been a fan of from other shows from when I was younger, growing up, watching different cartoons and everything. And so I knew who everybody on that was, and I'd heard them in about a million things. So it was kind of surreal at first, like being in the recording booth with kind of all your favorite voiceover actors. And then on top of that, it was like I was getting paid week in and week out to watch these people and just learn from the best and watch them do their craft that they're masters at. And so, yeah, I think that's what it's like. It's like you get to be paid to be in a master class with some of the funniest comedians. And a lot of those people come from like, especially like Tom and John, I think D to an extent, but a lot of them come from like kind of a stand-up comic background, and so they'll be improvising and they'll be riffing off just jokes and stuff between takes, and that's where a lot of their voices come from. And so it's hysterical. I mean, I don't think there was ever a session where I didn't laugh extremely hard. You know, there was never a dull session, because even if it felt like if something felt dull, like they would make it not feel dull just because of being really fun comedic people.
Okay. And on Voltron, I mentioned you worked with the spectacular Spider-Man himself, Josh Keaton, and DC Superhero Girls' own Cree Summer and Kimberly Brooks.
This is true.
They both star on that series. So, what was it like with them?
I mean, I think most people that I work with, I genuinely just love and get along with. I mean, I'm a very easygoing person, and so I just like the people that I work with, and they're all so talented. I mean, I think it's crazy to me at times the versatility that those people have, and it's also funny when you have people playing roles that are so not like them. Like Josh is playing like a very stoic hero in the show that's very serious pretty much all the time, and in real life he's just the biggest goofball in the world. And then you got like Cree, has this epic voice and is playing a literal evil witch, and is probably one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. So yeah, I think it's the funniest thing just watching someone go from being in between takes like, oh, I love it, that's cool. What have you been up to recently? Oh, sorry. And now I'm gonna kill. Like it's such a weird transition to you'd be in a very casual conversation catching up with someone, and then they'll say we're rolling, and then suddenly they get into evil witch mode. And it's a surreal experience, but I love it.
Thank you so much, Wally. Great questions, and obviously he knows back and forth.
Sweet.
Next up, we have Jeremy. This is a shout out from Ben, and Ben wants to know, what would you consider the best advice for someone looking to be a voice actor?
I think the best advice for someone looking to be a voice actor, well, I guess you have a good amount of time now from quarantine. So, I think ultimately just watch a lot of other people do it. I think there's probably enough behind the scenes and even documentaries on it at this point that you can really see what it's like. But I mean, voice acting, I always say is it's just acting. You are finding a character and trying to bring that character to life. And so it's all within the realm of acting, but voice acting is kind of like acting with your hands tied behind your back at times, because you have to convey everything of the character through just how you're speaking a line. You don't get the tools of the physicality of it. You don't get the tools of having the emotion on your face be shown through. That's the job of the storyboarders and artists and animators. And so you just have to convey everything through your voice. And it's kind of a weird symbiotic relationship with the animators in that way. So I would say just, start. When I was young, I just started impersonating people. I started copying voices that I thought were really funny, and accents and all these things. And also having a musical background is also great. If you sing and are a singer, you'll find that there's a lot of overlap in very weird ways. And then as far as getting into it, as far as like a career or a job, I think the best resource I could shout out is probably it's D. Bradley Baker actually has a website dedicated to talking all about basically how you would go about getting into it. And I think it's soyouwannabeavoiceactor.com. I think that's what it's called, if I remember correctly. And he basically compiled, I think, the most exhaustive list of guidelines that I could have ever seen and could ever hope to give you. But yeah, I think get involved on the local level when you can, when we're allowed to, with like theater and things as well. Just it's the comfortability that's helpful, and the ability to kind of just try things out that will serve you well.
Perfect. And what an easy website name. If you ever forget that, just so you want to be a voice actor.
You want to be a voice actor.com with a question mark. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it, because I always forget what it is, and then I'm like, oh wait, what would I type in? And that's literally what it is. So
that's it. All right, we got one last shout out from Camille, and Camille says, "Are there any plans for Makeout Monday after quarantine?"
Yes. Short answer, yes. Long answer, I think we're kind of working on some stuff during the quarantine a little bit. I mean, as much as we can via FaceTime and Zoom and sending voice memos back and forth and whatnot. So I don't know. Like with anything right now, I have no idea what that timeline is going to be like, but I think that's a firm yes, that there will at least be something post quarantine from Makeout Monday. 100%. I think there's at least one song that I know we've recorded that we haven't released. So there's a bare minimum going to be at least one song, and probably more. So yeah, short answer yes.
That's all she needed. Short answer yes. That's going to happen.
Short answer yes.
All right. Well, it's that time again. We have made it to the end. I know that's sad for everyone. Thank you guys all for joining us. Jeremy, as always, it is your turn to say whatever you would like to your fans.
thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to sharing stuff with you guys. The show that, God, I feel like I've been teasing this for forever now, just because of the fact that everything's been put on hold because of, you know why. But yeah, I'm so excited to finally get to share the Netflix series that I'm working on. And there's been a lot of emphasis on music in this fan cast, and so I have a good feeling that most of my fans will enjoy it, just because it's literally all about music and it's all about a band. And I feel like I'm more or less playing a character-y version of myself in real life in the show. I mean, the character that I'm playing is a bass player singer who's part of a punk rock band. So yeah, it's weirdly leans into my skill set, but I think we were supposed to come out in July. I think that might get pushed back now till the fall, unfortunately, which sucks because I just want it to be out there, at least have like a preview or something so I can share it with people. But we are actively working on it, and I know they're getting close to being done in post-production, so I'm excited for that to come out. But in the meantime, don't go crazy during quarantine. Find a hobby, find something that makes you happy, enjoy it, and then we can all complain once we're back in our regular routines again. But thank you guys for carving out an hour of your quarantine schedule to hang with me, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. You guys keep your eyes on the website and our Instagram for future fan casts, and of course Jeremy's amazing Insider series, and we'll see you guys all next time on CoStar.